Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day. Today from a very sunny and warm Phoenix, Arizona. I had to get away and enjoy some sunshine. This rundown's going out to Spidey82, who says, "You know I love your channel. Can I get a shout out?" Sure you can, Spidey82. This rundown is all yours. There's been a huge shakeup with not one, but two new X-Men movies. 20th Century Fox has delayed two of the upcoming X-Men films. The horror movie inspired New Mutants and the more action-oriented Dark Phoenix. New Mutants was originally supposed to be coming out next month, but Fox recently pushed it back by almost an entire year to February 2019. Now they've pushed it back even further, and it won't arrive until August 2019. That's almost a year and a half from its original date, so hopefully this doesn't mean there are any big problems with the film itself. As for Dark Phoenix, that was supposed to be out this November, but will now land in February 2019. This means that the only X-Men movie coming out this year is Deadpool 2, which arrives in May. We have to point out that these delays come as 20th Century Fox is in the process of being acquired by Disney. It's unclear what impact the acquisition might have had on the delays, but we do know that Disney has previously voiced their intention to absorb the Marvel characters currently owned by Fox into the shared Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that includes characters from New Mutants and Dark Phoenix. The acquisition is expected to take at least a year or two. It sounds like George Lucas had something very different in mind for the new Star Wars movies. With The Last Jedi hitting Blu-ray today, Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill, has revealed a few pieces of information about what George Lucas had originally planned to do with the sequel trilogy before Disney took over. We'll issue a spoiler warning for those of you who haven't seen The Last Jedi yet. Speaking with IGN, Mark Hamill says that Lucas had originally planned not to kill off Luke Skywalker until the end of Episode 9, after he trained his sister Leia in the ways of the Force. The idea of Leia becoming a Jedi has already been explored in older Star Wars novels, although those are no longer canon, and Disney obviously chose a very different path. When they bought the rights to the franchise and announced the new movies back in 2012, they said that they were working from Lucas's original outline, but I guess that was true only from a certain point of view. It's unclear how much else they've changed because we haven't seen Lucas's original outlines and probably never will. One thing is for certain, Episode 9 will be out in December 2019, so we'll get to see how Disney plans to end the sequel trilogy when that arrives.
See you around, kid.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is finally getting two things that everyone wants. Developer Bluehole has released their latest roadmap for the Battle Royale game, outlining the new features they're working on, and two in particular come as a big sigh of relief. First up, Bluehole says they're testing out region-locked servers, which means you'll only be able to play with others from the same geographical region. Fans have been asking for this because it's seen as a way to isolate cheater-prone regions like China, where more than 1 million suspected cheaters were recently banned. It would also ensure that all players have the lowest ping possible, but there are some downsides as well, like the obvious fact that it would isolate players and make it more difficult to play with friends on the other side of the world. Bluehole was initially hesitant to implement region-locked servers, probably for these very reasons, but fans have forced them to reconsider. They say they'll make their final decision about whether or not to implement region-locked servers once they've had more time to test them out. Next up, the other new thing coming to the game makes it look a little more dapper. Bluehole has begun adding weapon skins to the test servers, allowing players to finally customize the look of their guns, just like in pretty much every other modern game. Weapon skins will be added to the full game in the latest patch. No word if you'll be able to put skins on the frying pan. It looks like we're going to be seeing a lot more games in the same vein as Final Fantasy 15. Square Enix has created a new development studio called Luminous Productions, which is being headed by Final Fantasy 15 director Hajime Tabata. They haven't said what specific projects they're working on, but their mission statement is to create new AAA games and other entertainment using innovative technology and creativity. Several job postings from the studio indicate that they're looking for people to work on Final Fantasy 15-inspired projects, possibly future sequels and spin-offs to the recent game. Square Enix has previously announced their intentions to turn Final Fantasy 15 into its own sub-franchise called Final Fantasy 15 Universe, complete with an entire series of tie-ins. So setting up a new studio like Luminous Productions to work on them would be an obvious next step. The studio could also further develop the new technology from the game, like its active cross-battle system, detailed open world, and multiplayer components, and then use them in future games. Either way, if you're a fan of Final Fantasy 15, you probably have a lot to look forward to. It seems big movie studios see Netflix and other streaming sites as a dumping ground for their garbage. Paramount Pictures has revealed new details about why they decided to release the new movie The Cloverfield Paradox on Netflix instead of in movie theaters as originally planned. Speaking at a recent event, Paramount's Chief Operating Officer Andrew Gumpert says that after the movie was finished, they sat down and watched it with producer J.J. Abrams, and it gave all of them pause. They decided that it just wasn't commercially viable in a traditional theatrical manner, but if they sold it to Netflix, it would be more profitable. That means they thought the movie was crap and decided to offload it onto someone else, which is something we already assumed after seeing the movie. It was given a surprise release on Netflix right after the Super Bowl, but the hype soon fizzled when everyone realized how bad the film actually was. The fact that it paid off anyway means that Paramount and other studios will likely release future duds straight to streaming as well. Classic-style mech combat is stomping out of the PC next month. The new mech combat game, BattleTech, will hit the PC on April 24th. The project was funded through a successful Kickstarter campaign back in 2015, and along with the in-depth strategic turn-based combat, it promises to deliver an epic sci-fi story with loads of different characters. BattleTech is actually inspired by a classic media franchise of the same name, which started as a board game in the 1980s and already served as the basis for several other video games. The new BattleTech is made by Seattle-based studio Harebrained Schemes, which recently worked on the new Shadowrun series, and was founded by industry veterans Jordan Wiseman and Mitch Gittleman, who previously worked on Crimson Skies and another BattleTech-inspired game, 1998's Mech Commander. This will be the first proper BattleTech game in more than 20 years, so hopefully it delivers. That wraps up the rundown for today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new episode. In the meantime, we've got tons of other content for you to check out. And if you do that and dig it, don't forget to hit subscribe, that little bell, and if you're so inclined, that sponsorship button too.